Okay, so today I'm going to have a look at the new fighter Trendy E.Honda, and I'm also going to have a little talk about my discomfort with this game. It's mainly to do with how many fighters we have. Now, look at all of these fighters we've got. Now tell me, how many of these fighters do you really actually need? Ignoring all the legendaries, because legendaries are actually useless. But how many of these fighters do we actually need? We only have one type of PvP, and that's Showdown. Showdown requires you to have 18 good fighters. Out of those 18 good fighters, you're going to find that you're going to need Beast Zangief. You're probably going to need the regular E.Honda. And maybe even Suitable. So now you need 15 fighters that might be exclusive. Let's say you haven't been playing since the start of the game, so you haven't got any of the collabs. What fighters do you need now? Well, SST, you'll need Goku. You'll probably need Trendy Ryu. You'll probably need Athlete Chun-Li. Let's have a look now. Rich E.Honda, you'll probably need that. M. Bison, you'd want that. Overlord Bison, you'd definitely want that. You'll definitely want Visconde Vega. And then that kind of seems to be it. You might want to go the extra mile, get Evil Ryu as an assist to give you the 20% increase in damage. Okay. Who else will you want? Well, you haven't got Virgil, but you'll need something to sustain Viscous Vega, so you want Witch Jury. Okay. Now let's have a look. Who else will you need? Not much left really, is there? You'll obviously want the collab units, but they're collab, so they're on a limited time. So if you've just started the game now, you can't get those. So what you end up doing is doing what? Do you pull for the other SST units like Oni? I would I would say definitely not. I'd say definitely don't pull for Oni. I'd say don't pull for Akuma, because in a showdown situation, you won't use him on the main lineup. Akuma may be the better one as an assist because he has a trigger, but only in assist doesn't really work as well. He does do really high damage and everything else, but you only get an extra benefit if you kill an enemy, increasing your damage bonus by 12% and crit rate for 8% for 10 seconds. So you have to kill a lot to get a lot. So that's not really worth it in a PvP situation. And okay, so there you have it. You have like a handful of units that you actually really need. The rest end up becoming free to play units. So you don't really need them. So in that regard, why is it you have any incentive to get any legendary units? You're spending £50 to get a legendary unit. Are they going to be useful in a PvP situation? Probably not. There is an argument for Shredder to be used in a PvP situation, but even then, I think it's a bit dicey. It's a bit risky. You're definitely not going to be winning Showdown with Shredder, so you're going to end up qualifying, getting to maybe top 16. To get to top 16 for £50, Is that worth it? Probably not. You could probably qualify and get to the top 16 with just the free-to-play units. So do you need to buy any of the legendary units? Probably not. The only argument really to buy a legendary unit is to buy Flame Chun-Li, and that's because she gives a lot to this unit, Fire Adon, in bossing teams. So you don't even need to buy legendary units. There's no reason for it. So when it comes down to this character, the new fashion E.Honda, is it worth buying? Probably not. What's it going to give you? Absolutely nothing. You can't use him in PvP. So you're going to have spend £50 to get what in a boss situation? Not very much. I did test the his assist, and you can get 2 hot pots. So you can get 3% of Fashion E.Honda's max HP as healing. Okay, so that seems like good. Is it worth £50? Absolutely not. So why would you buy this? This is the problem that they're running into now in this game, is that they're releasing all these units, but there's actually no situation for you to actually use them. There's no incentive. There's no reason to buy these units just to have these units. You're looking at, let's have a look now at all these units. That's 50, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, £550 of legendary, 575 with the Flame Chun-Li, £575 worth of units that you can't actually use in any situation. Where's the logic in this? There is literally no point in releasing these units or anybody even buying these units, because there is actually nowhere for you to use them. The game desperately needs additional PvP game situations that stop you from using the same team over and over and over again. You can make another PvP game mode, but if you're going to end up making it so that you can use Viscous Vega in Showdown and in the new PvP game type, then there's no point in even having it, because the whole point is that you need a way of being able to utilize the rest of these fighters. The game needs money to survive, and you spend money by buying divination tickets, XYZ, to build your account. Now, if you don't need to actually get these units because there's no other game option to play with, then what you're left with is a situation where you're just stacking loads and loads of resources. This then in turn means when they do release a collab, the next collab, you've got on your core units like your Rich E.Honda, your Overlord, and they use SST. Now you've got on, say, another Street Fighter 6 unit like Luke. Because now you've stacked so much SST tickets, do you need to buy SST tickets? Probably not. Which means, what do you end up having? You have a collab that makes no money. The only people that are going to spend are going to be the whales. Here's the next problem. Whales are leaving the game. They're leaving the game because they keep on doing stupid things like the Starlight thing, or they're making it so that units are bugged, like the Overlord bug. They're not fixed it, or you've got units that are free to play that since launch haven't worked. Take DJ for example. DJ's FS30. Now, I had a discussion with another person about this FS30, with there being a 10% base chance for an enemy to be stunned. It doesn't work in any circumstance. I was told that it's probably because they have an effect resistance. But then I tried it with Archeon DiCapri. Now, Archeon DiCapri, her super does Judgment Flame. Each stack of Judgment Flame reduces target's effect resistance by 15%. It stacks up to 5 times. I stacked it up to 4 times, and still DJ didn't stun. So I don't think DJ's FS30 actually works at all. I've talked about as well Adon's FS30, where other allied fighters deal 20% increased damage to targets with hatred mark. That doesn't work. That could have been quite useful in a boss situation, but it doesn't work. So there's no point in building that. So there's 2 units right off the bat that don't work. And then you've got your Taoist Gen situation and all of this, that and the other, which also has its own problems as well. You've got your Trendy E.Honda bug that kills Overlord Bison. That's ridiculous. That shouldn't be. However, I would say that I do like the idea that true damage ignores the one HP clause because it's true damage. I think that makes sense. I think that would be a good thing for true damage to do. There aren't many true damage units, but I think that should be a rule. True damage should do that. So it shouldn't just work for Trendy Ryu, it should work for all the other people that do true damage. I also think true damage shouldn't be shared with damage sharing. So then they could add that to the game, and that would be quite a good thing to add. But it's not going to actually help people purchase new units, because there's no real incentive to do that. The only way they can actually incentivize people to get new units or build new units isn't by releasing another collab, because the time between collabs means you can save enough special summon tickets to get the collab unit for free, and therefore they'll end up losing money and the game will die. And I quite like the game. It's a very good game, really, compared to all the other gotchas out there, and they're just wasting this golden opportunity on this game. If they had extra PvP modes, that would be a start. They also need to have like a whole new adage to the game, like a team, like a base building game where you can invade other servers and build an army and, you know, take down their shields and steal their resources and other things like that as part of the game. And then they could implement these things like and at Satsukin, or, you know, the or this, like where it says fighting style secret arts, and that can have like an adage to that army building kind of style part of the game where you can fight. Those things are actually needed in the game, because without it there is no reason to build all of these units. There are a lot of units here, but you can only use a handful. And if you can only use a handful of them in the game, then why would you spend your hard-earned cash on anything when you can literally just play the game for free? You can play the game for free. You could probably make it to the qualifiers in Showdown, giving you the extra SSTs tickets. And then when they naively release a collab unit like Virgil, you'll have so many SSTs, special summon tickets, saved up, you'll get Virgil for free. And the only people who would be spending are the silly people who want absolutely every single fighter in the game maxed out, and they'll just have them languishing in their box, not doing anything for their account. brings no value to PvP because can't use it because of the way the meta is. It brings no value to bossing because of the way the meta is. So you could literally just get through the game by using all the free to play units, and then just carry on like that. It is baffling why the way they think of stuff. That's why I'm worried this game is going to have end of service coming very soon. Like maybe halfway through the second year, I think we're going to have end of service because there is no reason to spend money on this game because now pretty much all of the meta is set. The only people who are going to want to spend money are new players. And there's so much now information out there about what to get and what not to get that you could min-max your way to having a showdown team, which can get you qualified, which will then give you some extra SST tickets. So when the next collab unit comes out, you can max out that collab unit and boom, they've lost all that money. Also, because there is so little content in this game, and there isn't much of a way to play against your friends fairly, like say in sparring, for example. What it does is it breaks down the community. So because the community can't engage with each other because everything's unbalanced in the sparring, they've just left out a lot of free marketing. Think, if you could spar against your players, you may have people playing this on Twitch, which would then give a community, which would then give the game free advertising, which would then in turn get more players to play the game, which would then get more people to spend on the game, and then they could do extra things. But because they've made the game in such a way that you can't do that, they've left all of that free money, all that marketing just left on the table. They don't need it. They obviously don't need it. They don't want it. So yeah, that's my 2 cents about it. There's no reason to buy a legendary unit. You know, even Shredder. Shredder is cool, but really there's no reason to buy him. There is no reason to buy him. You're not going to win showdown with Shredder. It's as simple as that. You're not going to win, even if they gave them fighting spirit, then yeah, there's an argument he could be in showdown. But as it stands, how all the legendaries are, there's actually no point in purchasing these units. They've literally left like a lot of money on the table by making it so these units aren't actually viable in any situation. You could easily make this situation viable, like I said, by adding additional PvP modes, by adding a base building mode. So, you know, maybe they're not good in PvP or bossing, but in the army situation, maybe when you're invading another server, you know, your legendary units do double damage or have double health or do double something, you know. And people will say, oh, but then that's pay to win. But then the whole game is situated around pay to win, really, when you think about it. So by not having these units that are like marketed around smaller spenders, by not having these units do anything that is worthwhile, there's no reason to purchase them. Like, it doesn't matter how good his it doesn't matter how good his assist might be. You know, he could drop 50 of these healing pots. It wouldn't matter because you're literally buying it for the boss situation, when you could just use Viscous Vega or Overlord Bison and just smash up the points anyway, and not worry about healing. You know, Because healing against bosses isn't really the problem, because once you hit a certain amount of damage, the boss is just going to one-shot you. So the fact that you're healing becomes pointless. You're surviving to have full health only to be one-shot. Makes no sense. So then, where are you going to use these healings? In a PvP situation. And are you going to be able to stack those healings in a PvP situation? Probably not. So therefore, the healing pots become useless. And you have now wasted £50. So my verdict on it's always going to be my verdict on a legendary unit is do not buy. Do not buy. You don't need to buy anything in this game, to be fair. Nothing in this game is actually now worth purchasing, because the way they've made the game, it's literally you can get all the things that you need for free, because there's only a handful of units that can be used in Showdown. So therefore you don't need to buy divination tickets. You don't need to buy SST tickets. You can literally just get the very bare minimum: Overlord Bison, Viscous Vega, E.Honda, those Goken, Summer Elena. So that's 1, 2, 3, 5 units. There's 5 SST units that you need. That's not that many. The other SST units like Virgil and Luke, well, they're collab units. By the time a collab unit runs round, what have you got? You've only made 5 SST units. I know for a fact right now I've got more than 5 SST units built to triple S. So if I only stuck to the 5, I would have enough SST tickets. I would have Michelangelo, Raphael, Luke, Virgil, all super maxed, all 5-star white star, all 5-star white star. They would have been done and dusted, because you wouldn't need, and that would make your account really strong. You wouldn't need. I wouldn't have built Oni. You don't need Oni. It's not useful. I wouldn't have even attempted to build Akuma. It's not useful. You know, would I have attempted to build, what's another SST unit? Let's see if I can find one. Oh, that's it really. Oh, Trendy Guile, SST. Is it useful? It's a meh. You know, it's good as an assist, but is it necessary? No. Baddest Jury, SST. It's a meh. It's okay. It's good, but is it like groundbreaking? No. Trendy Akuma, is it groundbreaking? No. Cami Vega, is it groundbreaking? No. Banquet Cami, is she groundbreaking? No. So, you know, there you go. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's have a look now. 5, 6. So there are 7 SST units that you don't need. Just don't need them. Think how many tickets people who've built them, SST tickets, you have used building these units, only to find that they're actually not going to win Showdown. And because they're here in the game forever, you could have just waited. So my verdict is, you know, there are the 5 units that you need. Build those, SST, 5-star, white star. And then just stack up all the rest of the SST units. Maybe they might release a new groundbreaking unit like Viscous Vega or Overlord. You know, one of the whales will use them. You'll see that it's overpowered, and then you'll have enough SST units to get him maxed out straight away. Or you can just wait for a collab unit like the Turtles or Luke, or Virgil, and then you can just max out those when they come out. I suppose the greatest disappointment in collab is this one, the Dante collab. As for a collab unit, this is pretty appalling. You know, like you won't like there is a technique of using him, but you know, not building him to FS30 is kind of crazy work on their behalf. What other units should you get? I would say getting all the tanks built and all the healers. Tanks and healers, they're the ones that you can't really go wrong with. When it comes to attackers, it's always good just to wait for the collab. You'll have so many SST tickets saved up, you'll be able to just get it straight away. If you're not winning, if you're not qualifying now, it will probably be because the units you got just don't cut it, and purchasing a legendary unit is definitely not going to cut it. So you're better off building your healers, building your tanks, because they're quite easy and free to build. And then when a collab comes out, and they're generally damage dealers, when a collab comes out, there you go, boom, damage dealer. Straight off the bat, you've got the damage dealer. You're doing saucy damage, and you'll probably end up qualifying. You'll probably end up in the top 4, or maybe even winning showdown. So that's my 2 cents about this game and what I think it's going to happen in the future. It's not looking good. That's what I'm going to say. It's definitely not looking good. Unless they make some very, 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 very big changes. This game's going to sadly go away, and it's sad. It's sad because this game has hit a sweet spot of casual play and competitive play. But they've really done themselves a disservice by not having enough PvP content. The lack of PvP content, which is what fighting games are about, is player versus player. You know, it's not, you don't buy these games to fight the computer endlessly. You play it to fight other people. And if you haven't got that content, or you've pigeonholed yourself into having it so you only need a few fighters, and you keep on releasing this, what else can we call it but fluffy garbage of units, there is no need to use your resources like divination or SST or other stuff. You may as well just save it for when a collab comes, and just blast a collab down into the ground. Yeah, that's what I've got to say about this unit. Just a quick little thing. This Horror Hakan, is he good? He's not a PvP unit. He's not a PvP unit. So where are you going to use him? Where are you going to use him? You've got a case for his assist. Okay, Seth can do the same thing as well. He's been out longer, so you've probably got more of him than you have of Hakan. So you don't really need him. His super is slow, his C3 is slow, the animation is slow, so you're probably going to get chopped down by Vega quick sharp. That's the problem. That's the problem the game has. You've got such a strict meta in such a small group that there is no reason whatsoever to get a new unit, unless you just want, unless you're just playing for fun like I am, and I like building the units. If you're being like competitive, there is really no real reason to build any of these new units. To be fair, there is the ones that we have at the moment, they're so strong that you may as well just stick to making those 36 out of 36 cars, FS40, 5-star, White Star 120, and you're good to go. Even if an OP unit comes out, they're going to have to build it to something similar to even reach you. So that's my opinion on this game, and whether or not it's worth getting new units or legendary units. Legendary units, do not get them. Do not get them. There's only one legendary unit worth getting, and that is Flame Chun-Li. It's the only one that's worth getting. She was £25. It was a bargain. That was the right price. They should all be that price. This, where you're going to spend £50 on an assist fighter that you can't use in PvP. Did you smoke something? Whatever you're smoking, I don't want to smoke it. It's giving you brain worms. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say this to you, to the people that did buy it. Because I'm just sorry. I'm sorry you purchased these units. I really am. The legendary units are such a disappointment. It makes me so angry, these legendary units, because you can't use them anyway. It's £50 you've just wasted. It's always a waste of £50. Or £100 if you missed it and you buy it later. It's such a waste. And yeah, that's been my thoughts on the new units and the game overall. I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe, leave comments about where the game's going and where you think it's going. But I've been CB4 Gaming. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.